It is good to have you join me on yet another episode of the program Service to Humanity, a program designed to update you on the activities of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. On the program this evening, we shall be bringing you reports of recent happenings in the ministry and its agencies. The fifth meeting of the National Humanitarian Coordination Committee Technical Working Group is one such activity. The agenda involved coming up with a national action plan for the implementation of the recently adopted policy for internally displaced persons. In another story, we have testimonies from beneficiaries of the N-Build programs from Kaduna as they speak of their experiences and plans. These and more coming your way shortly. Join me after the break.
I tell you, anytime we're not producing, the fish farmers suffer. The people we engage suffer. The people we feed, that we give our fish heads to, they feel it. I'll only beg the government to continue with this and make it run more.
We used to have children crying, parents will be chasing them to come to school, and they will be at the gate, they will be crying, they will hold on to their plate, they will not want to come into the gate.
When they are not giving it for some, the attendance was very low.
Now the children are always fit and healthy because of the food they eat.
To make them attend class every day.
I eat rice, meat, and carrots.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the federal government for the feeding program.
The Management Diary comes first with news from the ministry and her agencies. In our lineup, Minister reiterates commitment to lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty, just as NAPTIP steps up operations to combat misuse of technology for human trafficking. Stay tuned for details.
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk has reaffirmed her steadfast commitment to ensuring the successful implementation of the social investment programs created by the Buhari administration, designed to lift 1 million vulnerable Nigerians out of poverty by 2030. This was revealed in a statement issued by her Special Assistant Media, Nneka Nkem Anibeze, where the minister said she will not be intimidated by detractors who will stop at nothing to sabotage the ambitious initiatives of her ministry. Farouk, who was responding to recent reports that cited the APC Initiative for Good Governance, a group with a base in Bauchi, which claimed that she was using social investment programs intended for Bauchi State to push the political interest of her husband, Air Vice Marshal Abubakar Siddiq, retired, who is running for governor of the state in 2023 on the APC platform. The minister said that she has always fought assiduously for the interest of the poor and vulnerable, regardless of their state of origin, tribe, or religion, based on her proven history as a detribalized Nigerian politician, mother, and wife. National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has increased its operations in partnership with Facebook and other international partners in order to combat the reality of the emerging misuse of technology that has added a new dimension to the fight against human trafficking in the country. This was revealed by the Director General of the agency, Dr. Fatima Azi Waziri, on July 18, 2022, as she opened a 5-day boot camp for members of state task forces on human trafficking, which took place in Abuja. The boot camp was sponsored by the International Organization for Migration, IOM, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, Expertise France, and the implementation partner for action against trafficking in persons and smuggling of migrants, ATIPSOM, in collaboration with NAPTIP. It was created to improve peer review and learning, document good practices, identify challenges and work towards sustainable solutions, as well streamline the activities of the state task forces with the NAPTIP. Azi gave a brief summary of some of the agency's modest accomplishments over the past few months, including an increase in prosecutions and conviction, the rescue and interception of trafficking victims, increased awareness-raising efforts, including the ongoing launch of the Anti-Human Trafficking Vanguard in federally owned unit schools nationwide, and the creation of several anti-trafficking policies.
Kafin zuwan wannan tallafi gaskiya ba a komai, ana zaune ne haka, amma sakamakon zuwan wannan kungiya ta tallafi yanzu mu 17 mukan yi adashi a kungiyance, muna yin sodan shinkafa ne, mukan haɗu mu zo mu riƙa yin ta gabaki ɗayan mu. Idan aka yi sodan za a je a kai ta casa, in aka kai ta casa wani lokacin za mu kai kasuwa, to kuma akan zo gida haka siye ɗaiɗai, ko kuma irin masu shaguna hakan makotan shaguna sukan siya haka su sara sarka siyarwa. Dalilin da ya kawo wannan kungiya shine saboda ci gaba, tunda in sana'a mutum shi kadai ne kudin ba sa kaiwa ko ina, to a hakan da muke yi in mun samu duk wata wani lokacin mukan cire wani abin mu sa a cikin account, ko kuma in kudin makaranta wani ko kuma haihuwa ko kuma wani sha'ani in yi abin nan mukan taimaki juna da shi.
Welcome back. About 2 years ago, a National Humanitarian Coordination Working Group was inaugurated by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, and charged with the responsibility to enhance coordination and seamless delivery of humanitarian aid to affected communities in the country. The working group held its 5th meeting in Abuja, and the focus was the creation of a national action plan for the implementation of durable solutions for internally displaced persons as captured in the IDP policy. Highlights of the meeting as well as highlights of the policy are captured as we see how the meeting went. Keep watching.
On Thursday, the 21st July 2022, National Humanitarian Coordination Technical Working Group held its 5th meeting in Abuja. The agenda for the meeting was to come up with a national action plan for the implementation of the IDP policy, which was launched in March 2022. The policy provides a framework for national responsibility towards prevention and protection of citizens and, in some cases, non-citizens from incidences of arbitrary and other forms of internal displacement, meet their assistance and protection needs during displacement, and ensure their rehabilitation, return, reintegration, and relocation after displacement.
The Ministry has been working assiduously with partners to develop policies and programs.
Chairman of the meeting, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Hajiya Sadiya Umar Farooq, was represented by Permanent Secretary Nasir Sani Gwarzo, said in order to make the National Humanitarian Development Plan become operational, the meeting's goal was to articulate and design an implementable implementation strategy. He was represented by the Director of Humanitarian Affairs, Alhaji Ali Grema.
Considering the urgent need to activate a process of closing the gap in coordination of management of IDPs, this 5th meeting will focus primarily on update on national policy on internally displaced persons after its approval by the Federal Executive Council on the 1st of September 2021. And the next step to be taken to drive its implementation.
The Permanent Secretary called on stakeholders to put their heads together to come up with a veritable national action plan for the implementation of the IDP policy.
It is expected that stakeholders will exchange ideas, views, and agree on the methodology towards the development of actionable national action plan for the implementation of the IDP policy.
The House of Representatives will continue.
In his goodwill message, co-chair of the meeting, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, represented by Chairman House Committee on IDPs, Honorable Umar Jega, while urging the members of the Technical Working Group to work hard for the actualization of the IDP policy, pledged the support of the House of Representatives for its success.
the House of Representatives will continue to partner with all relevant organizations and the ministries to ensure that the success of this policy is achieved. Nigeria being a signatory to the Convention for the Protection of IDPs will always work towards this novel cause to ensure that vulnerable groups are not left out in need of humanitarian intervention.
Also speaking, Deputy Head of Office, United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, Etsi Sukyapo, said the UN would continue to support the ministry as it carries out its mandate.
It has been an honour to work with and provide support to the ministry, and OCHA would like to, in line with its mandate, assure the Federal Ministry of its commitment to provide the necessary support to ensure the mandate of the ministry is achieved. More than ever, it is important we improve our coordination and collaboration.
With the goodwill messages, the opening session of the meeting was concluded. Special Advisor to the President on Monitoring and Evaluation, Fatia Askediram, speaks more about the meeting.
This meeting is the 5th meeting of the National Humanitarian Coordination Technical Working Group. This technical working group is the group that feeds the National Humanitarian Coordination Committee, and this is a highly placed group that take decisions on behalf of humanitarian activities in Nigeria. So this group is looking at the IDP policy that was recently passed last year by the Federal Executive Council, and we're trying to develop an implementation plan, action plan actually, for the implementation of the policy.
Charles Anielo, Deputy Director, Humanitarian Affairs, also speaking in an interview, explained the advantages of the IDP policy.
IDP policy is created just for 2 or 3 specific issues. The core of them is to ensure coordinated approach in delivering humanitarian assistance to IDPs, and then also to ensure that there is no duplications and of efforts by all actors working on issues of humanitarian delivery. And also, it's also to entrench best practices of providing protection to the persons of concern, particularly the IDPs, to ensure that they are treated in dignity, that their human rights is actually respected because of their situation.
The rest of the meeting saw several presentations which put the issues around the policy in perspective. High points of the meeting included an update on the roadmap on the implementation of the National Humanitarian Development Plan and the National IDP Policy, background and overview of the National IDP Policy, and overview of the proposed National Action Plan and Work Plan. Stakeholders made contributions on the proposed National Action Plan.
Dependency on international organization is a big mistake. It's a big mistake. If we have our plan, we have our activities to be done, they can now say this is what we can assist. Because they assist, that does not make them to the owner of the house.
So the action plan is all about measuring the objectives of the project, of the IDP, of the policy. And then so they have to be a harmony between the objectives of the policy and then the action plan objectives.
If we really need to ensure that people comply, people don't go out there and do whatever they feel, we should be able to have a framework that tries to harmonize resources and also clearly demonstrate transparency and accountability in the implementation and utilization of those resources. Thank you.
Who are the partners in the implementation of the policy? and what is their level of commitment. Charles Anielo explains.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, one of their core mandates is to ensure coordinated approach, and not just only coordinating the national partners, but also our international partners. So in this we are doing now, we are working together with them, and that is why if you see in one of the presentations that we made on the issue of the governance and how they will be the team lead or the sector lead.
As one of the consultants explains, some progress has been made on the implementation of the IDP policy.
The progress, I can say that this is the third month from the work plan that was presented, and we hope that all of the process would continue, and we hope to have a launch of the National Action Plan on the IDP policy by December 2022. So it's an ongoing process. Right now, we'll continue working with actors in different task force, seeing what are the key needs for IDPs, because at the national level, we're looking at the 36 states of Nigeria. So looking at the gaps, budgetary needs, baseline, what has been in existence. So all of those would inform the action plan going forward on the IDP policy.
torí ara oúnjẹ ara pákídé ẹ̀mí àṣegàrí à ń tẹ̀bà à ń ṣèbẹ̀ à ń jẹun ìjọba ṣeun lọ́wọ́ á ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ ètò tó dáa ni tó fáìn tó dáa ni torí ìjọ yẹn gan tí wọ́n pé owó yẹn ẹlòmíì kò sí nǹkan kan pé bóyá bákan jíjẹ ṣùgbọ́n gba adé báyìí wọ́n kọ́kọ́ yà ayọ̀ 2000 wọ́n ṣèbẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ inú wọn dùn ara ráìsì àdàṣẹ́ńjì tó kù sórí ìka pákí pé ká lè máa rí mu jẹ lọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ìjọba ṣeun.
The program is still Service to Humanity. When we visited the Skills Upgrade and Vocational Training Center in Kaduna, there were different trainees undergoing various trainings under the End Skills component of the NPower. In our next segment, we shall take you to see beneficiaries being trained on carpentry and building as they share their experiences on the training, their future plans, as well as appreciation to the federal government for the opportunity. Let's hear from them.
This is the carpentry unit of the Skills Upgrade and Vocational Training Center, SUVTC, in Kaduna. Beneficiaries during this training are engrossed in various activities like wood filing, cutting, and so on. The trainees had a task to carry out, which was to construct a side tool for a sitting room. Kasim Mukail, instructor of the carpentry unit, speaks on the training process and areas the beneficiaries have been trained.
We just encourage them so that those who are this practical way then they do, so that you go able to make them, if they come for this place, they can get something they can do. You understand? That's why Kuma already we don't already do roofing. We do roofing, we do furniture. So we don't go the work for the roofing. Already they don't already know about that one.
He urges the beneficiaries to keep practicing what they have been taught, even after graduating from the training center.
After they leave this place, make them try to further again. Because the knowledge, they finish. Now every day, now the knowledge is still there. So if they come out for a year, they go still meet another person. They go meet the person where know reach them, they go meet the person where reach them. And make them do it, make them try to bend down for the person anywhere where they go.
A beneficiary from the carpentry unit, Muhammad Aminu, shares with us his experience so far at the training and his plan for the future.
Since I came here as an Empower candidate, I've learned a lot of experience, hand-tools, working experience. Because I came here, we did a lot of work. We did work on roofing. crankshaft, the shafter, and everything concerning carpentry under roofing. I have a lot of experience in roofing now, and we are into this wood workshop practice for we to produce stool. So our Oga has taught us a lot of things. We did taping, measurement, and cutting. So in that same practical, we are assigned to produce our own furniture, our own self. So we are assigning to do a stool which you saw us doing.
Aminu appreciates the president for the opportunity.
He gave us a very delightful opportunity as a student, as an individual of Nigeria. This is the way that you can empower people, not by giving them money or other things. But you can't give a man fish every day without teaching him how to catch fish. So it gives an opportunity for us the youth in Nigeria, to put ourselves through together, stop kidnapping and stealing whatsoever, learn handwork. You can live with it, you can empower yourself, and even the people under you can achieve from these things.
At the building unit of the center, we interacted with the instructor and some beneficiaries of the units. Thaddeus Boboy, the instructor of the unit, said the beneficiaries have been in training for 3 months.
Their performance is very, very good based on what we are teaching them, and they are getting it very well. Some of them, like now, as you can see what they are doing, I think some can build a small structure for themselves, even though in their houses.
Joy Nai Josiah, a beneficiary of the building unit, talks about areas they have been trained on.
We actually thought a lot of things. We thought how to take measurements, understand measurements, safety measures, how to build things that are required in building, different professions in the building, types of foundation, just several things.
She shares how the skills she has acquired would impact on her life.
I actually see different opportunities. I could start a business in the building industry. I intend to take it seriously also. I could actually build, if not for anything, the general knowledge I learned could help me in my home. So there are different things I could do.
Joy and Rebecca expressed their appreciation to the federal government for such opportunity.
I really appreciate the federal government for this initiative. It has been of help to the youth. Some of us would not have learned anything if not for this, but because of this, a lot of us have opportunities now to become better individuals, to empower ourselves. So I really appreciate the government for this.
I want to thank the government for this very opportunity being given to us. In fact, they have done so well. I'm very, very much grateful about this very program. They have done so well and we have achieved in this program. We are thanking them for what they have done so far.
Da dai ba mu da sana'a, amma zuwan shi ne muka samu sana'ar yi mu sai inji nake amfani da shi. Game da harkar makaranta haka lafiya, dai zamantakewa dai sha'ani haka duk muna yi da shi. Allah ya saka mata da alheri, Allah ya yi da nufi, Allah ya sa ta fa haka ma.
The Humanitarian Ministry has indeed proven beyond doubt that giving the poor and vulnerable Nigerians a better life is its key focus, and has continued to do so through its policies and social investment programs. On that note, we draw the curtains of this week's episode of Service to Humanity. Feel free to send in questions and suggestions to any of our social media platforms or drop a message on the ministry's page on Facebook or Twitter. Until I come your way again next week, stay safe.